Assalamualaikum guys, welcome back to the channel. Guys, last video was about the borders. We discussed the border colors, border sides, border margins as well. Okay, and we also discussed how you give the different type of colors in borders. So I hope so. Last lecture was clear to you. So before starting today's video, guys, if you are new to my channel, kindly guys do like, subscribe, and share. So today, the agenda of our topic, we will cover up the rounded borders, margins, and paddings. So let's start with the rounded borders. What are the rounded borders? First of all, let me explain here. Border, we remember whenever you want to make your border rounded, you need to add the border radius. Radius actually converts your border into rounded. Okay. So as you know, in my code editor, I already taken some properties that border style, red, these whatsoever. So colors I already have taken. Now what I need to do, I just need to add the border radius in order to make round. Okay, border radius is the property. Okay, we remember whenever you take a property, you also assign a value. If you not assigns the value, okay, that property will not work or will not apply. So you must need to give the value as well with the property. So here let's say I'm giving the 5 pixels, okay, as a value. So once I define the 5 pixels, I need to go back in my browser and see. Let me refresh the page. I think so. I did not save the file. So I need to save it before I move next. So here's I defined. Sometimes I told you in last video caches issue. Sometimes the worksheet is not working. So I need to clear the cache first of all. Okay. So in settings you go. Okay, in settings find out the privacy and security, and here clearing browsing data, clear cache. Okay, once you clear that, now you need to go back and refresh why it's not working. Need to be checked now. Okay, border. Okay, one mistake I did. Okay, instead of taking these colors, you first need to give what is it called, border. Okay, border. Let's say border I am taking for how many pixels. Let's say I am saying border. Now you see the now you see the colors. Okay, sorry, now you see the rounded property as it 2 pixels. So one mistake, I have taken. Yeah, this one I have taken the border 2 pixels. Let's say I'm also giving the color, let's say solid red color I am taking. Okay, solid red color. So here I defined the solid dark red. Okay, border radius I already defined. Let me increase the values as well, 8 pixels. Okay, so I refreshed here, it's 85 I think. No. So once I defined here, now I need to go back in my browser and you will see the results also. Yes, as you see, this is border, but it's a kind of rounded, not actual rounded. So if you add some more, if you increase the value, right, we taking the 15 pixels now this time. So when I take the border radius 15 pixels, now you see in the browser, as you see now this is rounded. Okay, same like when you are adding the values or when you increase the value, okay, it automatically makes more rounder. Okay, so it depends on you how for what instant you want to make this border radius, okay, or round. So same like this is how you give the border radius. So that property I skipped in last video. So this is the property that is related to the border. We discussed border colors, border width, okay, different type of borders, specific width border, okay, and this is how rounded borders. So borders property basically sets all the border properties in one declaration. Okay, we also discussed the border bottom. What the purpose of the border bottom property? It actually sets all the bottom border properties in one declaration. Okay, same like we discussed the properties border bottom colors, border bottom style, border left, border right. Okay, these are all things. Border width. Okay, right width, top width. Okay, these things we discussed well in last video. So let's starting the margins. What are the margins? Margins are basically used to create space around the elements outside of any different borders. So basically, margins properties are used to create this. I already defined. Okay. So using the CSS, you have full control over the margins. Okay. Properties that involves in the margins are top margin, right margin, left margin, bottom margin. Okay. So this is I am explaining. Okay. Let me here add the properties, some properties here. So as I take this border, now I need to define margin. Simple margin first I'm taking. Margin, let's say property I am defining 5 pixels. Okay, let's see what will happen. As you see, margin is 5 pixels. So this is how all margins works. Okay, you see. Now let me increase the value. Let's see what will happen this time. I am increasing the margin. Let's say 50 pixels. Now see, margins will apply here. As you see, these are margins. So margins, I told you what's the basic purpose of the margins. Margins basically controls, okay? It is used to create spaces around. This is the space around them. As you see now, space is 50 between this line and this line. Same like the space between this one and this one is 50 pixels. Now, if you want to reduce, let's say I am decreasing the value as 5 pixels. Now you see it's quite close to each element. So I need to refresh it. As you see now, these are a kind of close to each other. So this is margins first. Same like we have margins from top, bottom, left, right. So I need to define here margin I define. So instead of this margin, I am taking the margin, let's say first of all, top. From top margin, it's 5 pixels. So I need to take it here from 5 pixels. Okay, as you see, from margin to top, from this line, okay. If you could not see the difference, this line from this starting of now margin is 5%. Same like we have one more. Let's say I'm taking margin top. Now I'm taking margin to bottom. Okay, bottom value I have taken. Now I need to go back in my browser and we'll see the result. As you see from top, from bottom, okay, from bottom now margin is 5 pixels. Same like you give the margins for left one and right one. I'm just giving now taking the margins from left one. Okay, right one you apply yours. Okay, margin left I set 5 pixels. Now you see the margins from the left side. So I need to go back. As you see margins from the left side. Okay, left side from this side the margin. Same like if you want where the margin from the right side, it will start from here. So this is how margin in the you can set the margin top, margin bottom, margin left, and margin right. Okay, this type of margins you can. Okay, these margins basically helpful when you are, let's say your website creates many sections of paragraphs. So if you want to give the margin from the top left, okay, you can also set that. Same like we have some more examples as well. Let's say you just define simple margin instead of giving the properties left, right, bottom. You just what you need to add, you just define margin, and here margin you need to give the uh, values for all. Let's say 25 5 pixels from top, same like 5 pixels from bottom, 5 pixels let's say from what is it called left, and same 5 pixels for the right. You can define all four types of margin in one line declaration. Okay, so I have taken the four margins, okay, for 5 pixels. Now you see what will happen. Okay, we'll need to see in my browser. As you see, 5 pixels from this one, also 5 from left side, from this side, from top side, okay, from bottom side. As you see, left, right, top, bottom, okay. Every margin have a 5 pixels. So this is how you set the different margins in one line. Okay. Same like we have the auto value as well. Auto means that you can set the margin properties to auto, okay, to horizontally center the element with its container. Okay, it automatically sets the element which will then take up specific widths and remaining space will be split equally between left and the right margins. Okay, so let's say I'm setting this margin as auto instead of giving the values. So I am, yes, margin auto. So once I define the margin auto here, as you see now it's automatically sets from left, from right, from top, or from other one. Actually, it takes, it depends on the values, okay? As I told you, okay, it's horizontally actually centers the elements within container. As you see, let's say we are taking this border, okay, this is the border, so it automatically sets. As you see, this heading, this text which I have written inside this border, it's not touching with the line. It's automatically gap between the text. So this is how auto works, auto value works. Same like we have the inherit value, okay, but we'll discuss this later. What are the inherit values, okay, when we make the design. Same like margins, where also have a shorthand property for setting all the margin properties in one declaration, margin bottom. So how you apply that one? Well, this is shorthand property, okay? So shorthand, yes, shorthand property works like this one, as this one. This is shorthand property. Let me see in this. Yes, the last win, which one might be this one. 5 pixels, 5 pixels for each. So one, what you did, you set all type of margins in one line. So this is called the shorthand property of the margins. So the same like we have the shorthand property for borders as well. You can set the border different border sizes in one declaration or in one line. Okay, so these all about the margins. Okay, same like we have the next one that is called margin collapse. Okay, sometimes we know two margins collapse in a single margin. So how margin collapse works? Top and bottom margins of elements are sometimes collapsed into a single margin that is equal to the largest of the two margins. Okay, this does not happen one left and right margins, only top and bottom margins. Okay, so how I explain this one, if I have the different paragraphs, mm, I think so. I will take the separate one here. Let's say here I am defining, let's say margin I am taking, let's say margin values I'm taking 0 from here. Here one also 0, and this I am taking 50 pixels, and here I am taking 0. Okay, so this value is the same. Like I have another heading, let me check which heading I have, that is called h3 and h1. So h1 I already taken, now I'm taking the h3 headings to give the all same sizes. This one I copied from here, and I need to paste it from here. So once I paste it here, let me change the values for this one. Let's say I'm taking 20 pixels from here, and other rest of values are 0 0. So this is what I have taken. Now you see, okay, I will show in the browser how it works. As you see, this is how working. Okay, as you see in this one, h1 elements, okay, h1 has a bottom margin of 50 pixels, and h2 elements have a top margin set to 20 pixels. Okay, we know common sense values would seem to suggest that a vertical margin between h1 and h2 would be the total of 70%, but due to the margin collapse, the actual margin ends up with the 50 pixels. Okay, so this is all about the collapse. Okay, margin collapse are what? Top and bottom margins are sometimes collapsed in a single line. As you see, top margins and these margins, as you see, are collapsed to each other. Some that I have actually added a text here. And if I remove the text, then you will see the property. Let me see some tutorials for beginners. Do not this line. Let me check it again. Which line disturbs? So this middle one. I need to go back in the browser. Mm, Yeah, here one. I need to this lines once I remove. I need to check what will happen. As you see now, this is what I'm saying. This is now margin collapsing. Okay, two margins are collapsing with each other. So this is the property of the collapsing. As you see, this border, this margin line and these margin lines are collapsing with each other. So this is the margin collapsing. Okay. Same like we have the margin properties as well. Margin to bottom, margin left, margin right, and these all the things. Okay. Now we need to discuss the third one, sorry, that is called the padding. Padding is actually used to create spaces around an element contents inside of a defined border. Let's say I am just giving you the idea that how the padding works. Let's say, as you see, this text is quite close to this border, but what I want that this text would display in between here or from this side or just 5 pixels from start from this border. So I also set the padding as well. We same like we have padding from top, right, bottom, and back. So if I go back in the browser, let me open the style file here. Let's say I am now taking the padding for this. Let's say padding, I am taking padding, simple padding I'm taking. Let's say 20 pixels. I am not taken padding from left, right, or also. So once I have taken the padding, now you will see the result. As you see now padding, this box is bigger now. Okay. So this is the padding concept was same like if you define the top padding, left padding, okay, in one line declaration, what that is called the padding shorthand. Simple padding 20 pixels from left, 20 pixels. Let's say this one is I'm taking 30 pixels and next one is 10 pixels. So here you define all the margin padding properties values in one line. So you need to go back. As you see, it's working. Okay, it sets from all sides, from top, bottom, left, right. Okay, this is how your padding works. Okay, I'm again saying padding properties are often used to generate spaces around an element content. This is not basically the border. Let's say, let's suppose this is a container. Okay, and if you want that this container is big or there is some space around the container, as you see, there is a lot of space from top, from this one, from left, and from the right one. Okay, so this is basically you can set this with using CSS padding. Okay, so this is how padding. Same like I have taken the padding shorthand property. You also define padding in separate line as well. Let's say here you take padding left, then padding right, then padding bottom, then padding right. Okay, so this is the padding properties works. I hope so padding is clear to you. So this is how your padding works. Okay. So next we have padding and elements width. Okay. Width property specifies the width of an element's content area. The content area is a portion inside the padding, border, and the margins of an element. Let's say I'm taking the width from here. From is there one? I'm giving width. Let's say width for how many width? Let's say I'm taking 300 pixels. So let's see in the browser that how it works here. This is the width, 300%. As you see, it's 300% wide. Okay. Same like if you want to reduce the width property, okay, you can width property. I'm again saying specifies the width of an element's content area. If you want, that's 100% width. Let me change the value. Instead of 300, I'm taking the 100 pixels. Let's see in the browser. Real one. I need to refresh the page as well. It's 100%. Okay. So same you set the paddings and width as well. Same like we have some more things as well, that is height, width, box models, outline, text fonts, a lot of things in CSS. But this tutorial quite be lengthy for you because CSS we know it's a popular language. Okay, so we need to discuss these all things in detail so you people understand that how CSS works, how CSS changes your style, how you give styles to your website or your web page. So that's all about paddings, okay, and all about the margins, okay. So next video gonna we will cover the height, width, box model, and outline. These three things we discussed. Actually, I'm not making too long video of 40 minutes or 1 hour. Then it's quite long. Most people do not watch the long video. So my strategy is that I make a video short under 30 minutes or under 20 minutes, so most people can watch, okay, they can easily learn what we discussed. So guys, that's all about the CSS borders and margins and padding. So guys, if you like this video, kindly do like, subscribe, and share. Meet you in next video. Take care.